Arise, minions, and welcome to unMadeGaming. We are here. We are back from one of our monthly Patreon one-shots. This is, I don't know, number 40-something, but this is episode 18 of Glenbrook Chronicles. This one here is called Static Contact, and this is the first time we've had this configuration of humans in this game in 18 sessions. So yeah, this is gonna be an interesting ride. As always, if you like what we do here and you want to support the channel, the best way to do that is just like these fine folks and join us over on our Patreon, link in the description down below. While you're down there, click on that Discord link, join us in the Discord, be a part of the community, be a part of the conversation, talk about this game, all of our other games, and all kinds of other fun stuff. And as always, in the bottom right-hand corner, you will see the corruption bar. That bar serves two purposes. One is when that bar fills, I do something maybe good, maybe terrible, to these unsuspecting players here. And two, every single dollar that goes into that bar goes back to this channel for all kinds of fun things like mortgage, electric bills, utilities, hiring people to do voice acting, editing, all kinds of fun stuff. That being said, the year is 1986. The place, New England. More specifically, Rhode Island. The home of Mercy Brown, America's first vampire. The site of many dark and lurid tales from the mind of HP Lovecraft. The home of the infamously haunted Perron Family. And now, the site of one of the largest government research facilities in the world. The Loop. The date is Saturday, the 15th of February, 1986. The four of you have assembled inside the broken mill of Stillwater Mill. But before we jump cut to that, let's take a step back. Blake, what have you been up to? Winter break is over, Christmas has come and gone, there's been a freak storm before Christmas. But life continues as normal. What have you been up to in the last few months?
Well, what month did we say again is now?
He's got terrible laryngitis, folks.
All right, you figure that out.
Fair on
We'll
stream.
we'll skip.
Yeah.
Because
Blake has got a side gig as a Chipmunks impersonator. He does birthday parties, bar mitzvahs.
Blake, you really got to lay off the helium, man. It's not good for you.
Yeah,
right?
He's got problems.
Will's
Got to take him to
mixer.
rehab straight after this.
Will's microphone mixer is on the fritz, everyone. So we'll cut back to that. Let's jump over to someone else we haven't seen in a hot minute. John Newman. John, what have you been up to in the past few months?
Basically being a bystander at his imploding family.
Great.
His sister visited for Christmas and his grandfather, and they're doing great. Chuck is going up to Oxford next year. She's doing really well. And Bob is just his charming millionaire type engineering magnate self. But in the course of this, his parents' marriage is sort of on the rocks. His dad is spending far too long at the Loop, even though his mom is on the tenure track at Brown. She's a doctor of engineering. It's kind of a family falling, but everybody is an engineer. And yeah, it's just the situation with their marriage is getting worse. It's becoming untenable, and so much that John's mom has bought a place on the shore, but it's under her name only.
Interesting.
Or it might be, or considering it might even be under his grandfather's name because he was in the country.
Interesting. And during all of this, what has John been doing?
He's got a plan. He's got a dream that he doesn't tell people, that he's going to move back home and he's going to buy this ramshackle little service station that's on the edge of the village green in the village he comes from in Warwickshire. And so he's buying generators, he's going down scrap yards, flipping anything he can for a profit.
Okay.
And eventually he's going to buy a car that he can tow things with, and then he's going to sell cars.
So as the age of 16 inches ever closer, John steps towards a life of normalcy. let's cut over to Shane, equally close to the age of 16. What have you been up to?
Well, I think Shane actually spent a good bit of time with John's family. I think while they were here for Christmas, he and Chuck had a very very awkward, not quite flirting, not quite not flirting thing going that everyone else thought was hilarious, and Shane thought no one noticed. Um, Lisa is still there has not been a whole lot of change in Lisa's condition. Um, the doctors noticed a little bit of uh, brain activity or increased brain activity during the times when we were looking into the weird things.
Mm.
I don't. No one else has made that connection. Obviously, the doctors haven't made that connection yet. But Shane has got this inkling. Um, it being wintertime, he has he managed to scrape together enough money from like babysitting Dee Dee and things like that to buy a used treadmill, which is now in the basement of his house. So he's been spending a lot of time down there with his Walkman and his headphones on, just kind of listening to anything that he can. Um, and yeah, you know, he's still trying to tune out most of the world, but he has kind of he's included John and his family in they're not part of the rest of the world. They're not people, they're family.
That's fair. That's fair. Rossy, what have you been up to? You recently went on a short adventure.
Rossy's been generally logging all of his adventures in his books in his room. Plus, kind of being his usual shut-in because he's looking for that next story for the school paper.
Okay. And we'll jump back to Blake, who is hopefully not a chipmunk. Nope, we can't hear you at all now, which is an improvement over chipmunk, I guess.
How about now?
Still a chipmunk.
Still Alvin.
Better?
Nope.
No.
Oh, now you're a manly chipmunk.
Now Blake is going through puberty. Let's stick with that.
That's so deep. It's so Barry White of you.
Is this better?
Yes,
Yay!
Finally! I had to go to music only mode. But
there
oh
he
well.
is.
Momentarily.
Puberty
Sweet
is a
music that is
bitch.
your voice. We missed it.
Blake is canonically 13, and sometimes it do be like that.
Actually, is it past February 26th?
It is not. It's February
No.
15th.
You
Okay,
just
so
switched back
close.
in the middle of that
Yeah.
sentence.
Yeah.
It
Good.
Yeah, keep swearing in chipmunk. It gives me life.
You actually is it after February 26th?
All right, everybody.
I'm sorry, we're gonna have to
But-
deal with it. I can't
say,
fix
what-
it at this point.
Welcome to the game, everyone. I don't think we're actually going to have any plot. We're just going to be laughing over his mic.
I know,
Oh,
right?
My God. I think you need to put a voice changer on that makes it sound normal.
Normal. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, so what has Chipmunk Blake been up to?
Well, after getting over the whole incident that happened in the library with the mirrors and everything, I think Blake's kind of calmed back down a little bit from his shock and fear from the event. Although he still feels affected to it to a degree. He's mainly been still doing all his brother's homework, making sure he stays in advanced math even though he can't do it. Oh, me? Sorry. Oh, that better? No?
At this point, I think just go with it.
All right. He is. I've lost my train of thought now. He's more ready to join back in the group with everything kind of calming down now, ready to get back to more adventures. And getting ready for his birthday party coming up soon.
Okay. So for everyone here, something has changed in the town of Glenbrook. Something that at least a few of you would know would be an important event. No one outside of the self-addressed Broken Mill gang has heard of the death of one of your classmates. In fact, he has been seen walking the streets of Glenbrook and the halls of the school. Billy Duncan is not now, nor has ever been, deceased. But you all recall differently. That being said, this in fact has no bearing on today's one-shot. However, that has happened since you have all last convened. Today we start inside the Broken Mill. You have had a week or so, 2 weeks, to deal with that knowledge, however you'd so choose. Whether you think it is some crazed cloning experiment, whether you think the loop did this, whether perhaps you think the stress just, caused mass hallucination. Or whether you think that multiple universes are colliding into one, causing a catastrophic meltdown any second now. That's entirely up to you. Also, neither here nor there. You are gathered on the 3rd floor of the Broken Mill, where you guys have really the whole place is sort of a hideout, but one of the offices is a de facto HQ, as it were. A hammock rests in there. You see crumpled up Burger Emporium Whomper bags from JoJo eating here nonstop for weeks. You see debris and detritus, as though this place has been quite lived in. And I believe Rossy, you were here most frequently, chasing down a strange signal received out near the lake. Something about an Aeon conductor, something about a time capsule, all kinds of strange things. What are the 4 of you doing inside the Broken Mill?
John will be spraying whatever the 80s equivalent of Febreze is around, so that he can breathe in this teenage boy smell. He's 15 and 3/4 or thereabouts, and John notices the fairer sex. They certainly notice him. I mean, with his hair build, he is wiry, but he has a motorcycle. That's currency with the ladies. So he's becoming quite sensitive to the smell.
Yeah. It
So he's
is.
Febreze in this joint.
It is J.C. Penney, $4 Dracar Noir cologne that you are spritzing all around
then
here.
That thing's getting the top off, and he's pouring it on the hand.
Yeah. So everything smells a little bit like woody bergamot, and it is markedly better, if not just a different smell, for sure. Teenage boys.
John wasn't about to waste the Old Spice. That's
Yeah,
him.
of course. Yeah. Teenage boys, if they know nothing, they absolutely don't know how to put on just the right amount of cologne. So while John is douching the entire place with Dracar Noir to remove the smell of Whomper and Teen, what are the rest of you doing?
So Shane, I think after a lot of the recent events, has taken a little bit more of a turn towards science fiction. In addition to just mysteries, he's still mainly a mystery head, but he has actually recently gotten into the works of William Gibson. So he devoured Neuromancer, and then Count Zero just came out a couple of weeks ago, so he is currently hip deep in that. Every once in a while, he will, look up, see John too much, and just go back to his book. If he sees, he will actually be going around and like, kind of absentmindedly picking up some of JoJo's detritus. He's not intentionally cleaning; it's just almost kind of a nervous habit.
Okay. Rossy and Blake.
Rossy's going over all his notes over the whole thing with the time slips, and he's trying to figure out what happened in his mind, like things about the mirror, seeing the past. It's just like, what is it? Is like, did we fix it? Because all of a sudden someone is alive that apparently wasn't, and he was never there to see them die.
That's true. But the town was abuzz with this. The town was aware of what was happening. So yeah, that is a lot to deal with. You having to address the past in a strange way. And last but not least, if you're good, Blake, what are you doing inside the hideout?
Muted.
All right, Blake is there too. we will come
Dude's
back
got
to
some
Blake.
awful bloody laryngitis.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes, there you go.
I had to go back to the other mic.
Okay.
So, all right. I think Blake would have grabbed some like newspaper clippings and try to see if he could see if there's any other differences in the timeline from what he can remember to what is saved from the library that he stole while his dad wasn't looking.
Ooh, interesting. The only thing you see currently is, well, I mean, I guess you don't see anything. The only thing that you know of is, for some reason, you know that there was a news broadcast. You can't find any evidence of this. There was news, local, radio, television, as well as newspaper articles discussing a nor'easter, which did happen. And you can still find articles discussing that, that discuss the death of a local teen boy, as well as the destruction of several homes in Glenbrook. Now they don't discuss the death of a teen, and they don't discuss destruction of homes. They just talk about a regular New England nor'easter that was very inconvenient, feet of snow, everyone pulling together, and coming together as a town. So everything seems pretty standard New England winter. Nothing ominous or strange about it. Now, if that has correlations, you're not entirely sure, but it's very difficult to look in the newspaper and find out what isn't there. You're basically going off of memory at that point, what you think happened versus what is in the paper, right? So there's very much a Mandela effect of what you think versus what is kind of situation. As the four of you are, reading a book, going over newspaper articles, dealing with your own internal trauma, and smothering an office room with Drakkar Noir.
John has scented candles too.
Oh, right, of course.
Open the windows, get those.
Yes.
To counteract the too much Drakkar Noir.
Right.
Oh, don't forget the car air fresheners hanging around.
That's the stuff. New car smell. Nothing better than that.
It's just a bunch of black ice hanging from the pine trees, hanging
New car
from
smell
the
is
thing.
its own thing. You either have pine, new car smell, or black ice.
And black ice is obviously the best one. So
Cedar or sandalwood would actually go really well in an old mill. Just saying.
Well, that's what Drakkar Noir is. It's sandalwood.
Yeah.
It's sandalwood and bergamot. So as you have this all going on, you all hear static, which for some of you may have its own traumatic intonation. But you hear radio static coming from inside, and there is a small, D-cell battery, handheld, not exactly like a boombox, like an 80s style shoulder-mounted cannon, but like one of those small ones with like a omnidirectional antenna that is snapped off, obviously, with the little handle that lifts up. So there's a small radio that seems to have intermittent bursts of static.
Had it been on previous to when we noticed the static starting?
Do you make it a point to check what devices are on and off as you sit down and read your book?
No, I guess more to the point was, was it making any noise before then?
It was not making any noise before static happened.
Okay.
I'll tell you that. Whether it was left on, you're not sure.
It came from a junkyard.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine that unless you bring things from home collectively as a group, most things are salvaged, or someone put it out for trash on a Friday and you scooped it before the trash guy came, right? Like that kind of thing. Yeah, so it is old, used, refurbished, as John might say. But yeah, as far as you can tell,
John, he would have sold it for money.
That's fair. It is not. It was not making noise beforehand.
So Shane, being one of those ones that is now slightly traumatized by static in several different varieties, he's right in on this, and kind of suppressing a shudder down his back, gets up and just kind of pokes his head into the office.
It's little bursts of static, like as if like less like the signals going in and out, but more like the powers going in and out, like it's dying batteries kind of thing. But all you hear is like that static. And then it's like maybe 10, 15 seconds, and then it's gone.
Okay.
And then it comes back again.
Does it sound slightly like Morse code?
It does not.
No, okay.
Someone leave the radio on? I think the batteries are dying.
I didn't.
Power button
Shouldn't be on in the
probably
first
fucking-
place.
Yeah, Jojo. I guess Blake would go in and turn it off, and then have a thought to check if there's even batteries in it.
Yeah, my next question was going to be anyone have any spare batteries?
Yeah, you look over at this thing, and you kind of walk over to turn this on, or turn it off rather. The first thing you notice is that the red indicator light for power is on, and that there are batteries inside it, as you cannot miss them since the back plate that closes around the battery is gone. As with most things in the 80s that have a battery door, that battery door is gone. Gonzo. And as you go to turn this off, you hear the following. Beware the is crypt as reality bends. Storm.
Well, gentlemen, looks like we have a reality-bending storm we need to be aware of.
Oh,
Just a normal Saturday.
Not again.
We've already caused time problems. Now we get to cause reality issues.
I never caused no fucking time problems. Thank you.
Yes,
Me
I'll take
neither.
the blame for that one.
So I caught beware and reality bending, and I think storm. Anyone get anything else?
No,
That's all I heard,
that's-
dude.
That's all we
That's the
heard.
gist. Did the voice sound familiar?
No, it did not. Roll me comprehend.
Did anyone roll this?
Anyone who'd like to
Oh.
roll comprehend can roll comprehend. Think
But I'm gonna give it a go.
if you think you might
Give it a
know.
shot, yeah. We are a comprehending bunch today.
We all understand exactly what's happening
Well,
somehow.
John did used to go to a comprehensive school. There you go.
Um,
No, he didn't.
yeah. So it sounds familiar, right? You can't place like it doesn't. The thing is, it doesn't sound like a person's voice, but that in itself is strange. Is why would a like robotic voice have any familiarity to you? So for those of you who have rolled one success, this is familiar to you. You've heard it before. You just can't place where. You just know in the back of your mind you have heard it before. For those of you who rolled two successes, so Shane and Blake. Also, Blake, you are no longer scared, so you can remove that.
I have that on.
So Shane and Blake, it sounds like a shitty version of HAL 9000 from the 1968 2001 A Space Odyssey.
So I think Shane and Blake probably have that same, kind of almost looking at it like a, dog listening to a high pitched noise and kind of catch each other. Does that sound like
How?
I don't know. My parents made me watch that movie once. I haven't seen it, heard it since, but yeah. There's a commercial on recently, I think, that used it. And yeah. But why would he glances down at the copy of Count Zero that is still in his hand. Son of a bitch, and throws it over his shoulder.
I mean, I've met Ronald Flagon, so at this point, Hal's not too much of a shocker.
What are you two talking about?
When the clock twilight shall speak in dots and dashes, unveiled.
Okay, so we're gonna have to look out for Morse code.
Something about Twilight?
What time's nautical twilight around here?
See, it's mid-February
yes.
in Rhode Island. Probably about
7, 8-ish.
6.
I was going to go
6,
5, but yeah.
6.
Yeah.
Sorry, clocks mixed up now. Yeah.
Yeah.
What time is it now?
It's the morning. It's whatever appropriately before noon time you would like it to be on a Saturday.
All right. Meet back here half an hour before sundown.
Oh, good. Thanks, Chief. I got shit to do.
Yeah. Do
Fine.
whatever. I mean, we've all been through shit like this before. Let's hunker down.
Tomorrow, at the stroke of ghosts, games past once again, unrestrained by human hands.
Unrestricted by human. I'm gonna guess that last bit was hands, by just
Tomorrow-
having the
Tomorrow at the stroke of something that was inconveniently unhearable.
I think it said something. Oh, it might be military time, so it'd be early morning. If it is military time.
Stroke of that's usually followed by midnight, at least in writing. All right. See if I can round up some Mountain Dew for us or something.
Wait, I have an idea.
Already got you covered. And Rossy kicks open a nearby fridge to real cans of Mountain Dew.
Jojo doesn't have a fridge.
Blake's
No,
gonna
but
grab.
See, Rossy does. He just didn't tell Jojo where it is.
Blake's gonna grab the radio real quick, and he's like, "Does anyone know how to get to the roof of the building?"
Ladder.
Okay.
So really sketch ladder.
There is a ladder on the. If you go to the top floor, where the flooring is all warped from rain, there is a sketchy, rusty ladder and an equally sketchy, clearly very reliable. Won't lock you on the roof hatch that leads to the roof access.
Anyone want to come up to the roof, see if we can get a better signal? You're muted.
Yes, I am. Sorry about that. I don't know a whole lot about tech, but I can at least make sure that like the door doesn't close on you.
That would be appreciated. So Blake's gonna go up the sketchy ladder, not get tetanus, hopefully.
Roll for tetanus.
Yeah. It's a
That'll
little
that would-
rusted.
that would
Won't kill
be,
you, princess.
roll for lockjaw. As you, no, you make it to the roof as Shane holds the hatch open so it doesn't close and lock you out there in the unforgiving February. What are you doing to this radio to try to get a better signal?
I'm treating it like Simba, holding it up in the air, try to slowly move around, waiting to hear any voice coming through.
Okay.
Get off the roof.
I do at this moment realize that half of my cast were probably born in the late 90s. So I will
know.
remind you that radios of this time were not digital and had a knob that you would tune in a very, very non-specific way to find the frequencies that were labeled in numbers of 10. So if you needed like a 101.3, you just had to hope for the best, somewhere between 100 and 110.
I know, but you also have to adjust the bunny antenna to make sure that nothing gets in the way.
Yeah.
Grab a coat
Oh, I
hanger.
know
Wrap
exactly.
it
how
in
those radios
tinfoil.
work.
Yep.
Make a loop
Yeah.
with it.
I don't think
I know
we had to.
exactly.
No loops. No loops.
We have to empty one of the Mountain Dew cans real quick. And then
Yeah.
crumple it up.
One of the tin foils from the burger. Emporium
Actually, you know
owners.
what? I am gonna actually do that. So do I roll a tinker?
Yeah, go ahead and roll me tinker.
Ross is. Do you have to call? Do you call Rossy to throw you a Mountain Dew can?
Yeah.
Do I need to roll athletics?
No, you can just toss that. You can just daisy chain that up
Toss
to
it at
Shane. Yeah, so you toss that up to Shane. Shane hands that up to Blake. And Blake, with some level of practiced finesse of 1986, and through whatever metallic objects are in your pocket or loose on the roof, and an aluminum Mountain Dew can, you create some sort of array antenna here on the roof. As you need to Simba it to hold the antenna on, because it's essentially attached to a 1-inch nub where the antenna snapped off. So as you sort of hold this thing, this cobbled piecemeal thing together, the radio frequency does in fact pick up again. And with your one success, you hear a broadcast. Beware the sky's cryptic message as reality bends under a phantom storm.
A message. Blake immediately just looks up to the sky to see if there's any cloud writings.
You look up and there are no cloud writings, in fact.
Skywriter saying "Marry me."
Yeah. It's
Um.
the Wicked Witch just zooms by.
Yep.
I'll get you.
Hey, Rossy, can I borrow pen and paper?
Yeah, I'm already writing it down.
Okay.
Actually, I am actually typing this in my notes, and I've already lost my tray.
That's right, I put it in the chat for you.
Yeah.
Ah, thank you.
When the clock marks twilight, beasts shall speak in dots and dashes, secrets unveiled.
Rossy continues to write.
Oh.
If this is in a loop, there should be one more message, and that should probably be it then.
Tomorrow, at the stroke of noon, the ghosts of games past play once again, unrestrained by human hands.
Okay, so noon tomorrow.
The ghost of games past, like arcade games?
Like
Oh no, it's the arcade again.
no, it's the damn video game tournament with Billy.
Oh, that one. Yeah. Not the other one we don't talk about.
Right.
Wait, is the someone check if the Radio Shack is still open?
I was just about to say, what's the have any of us been to the Radio Shack recently?
You have, Shane. You were there 2 weeks ago. It
Oh,
is abandoned and closed. And the entire strip mall has been dismantled.
Yeah. And John has been to Radio Shack recently. It was the one in the city. He had to get in the truck and go over there. Just to make sure that all Radio Shacks weren't similar loop sinister bullshit.
Mm.
And because he has a loyalty card.
You had to head down to New Arkham and check out the Radio Shack there.
This was a franchise location.
Mm.
That one's corporate.
Yeah.
Thank God for the corporations. They'll save us.
Well, about 2 weeks ago, that was Ed. Mike, this is me, Trevor, not remembering because it's been too long. That was the one where we kind of took Billy's TV image out of the Radio Shack. Was that one?
You went to JoJo's house, his burnt down house.
Yeah.
And you carried a TV to the Radio Shack.
Oh yes, and then then it grew legs and he gambled off or something.
I don't remember it growing legs, but I do remember you getting into the basement of there was a secret sub basement of the Radio Shack where you found a weird portal thing and a secret tunnel that led out into the woods somewhere.
Right. Yeah, you're thinking of the time the bastard thing tried to steal John's motorcycle.
Yeah.
That was the first time.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
They did both involve a TV, so.
Yeah. It was both TV Billy, who was, we've all agreed, is the more tolerable version of Billy. And we need to grab the bastard and put him in fucking television.
Now he's just back in Glenbrook.
Yeah.
Well, you've heard of people being thrown into lockers. That guy's getting thrown into a television.
These broadcasts continue every 5 to 10 minutes with no discernible regularity. Like it's not like every 5 minutes on the dot. Nothing specific about it.
But it's these 3 messages in rotation.
Yep. Okay. Yep. And the time between each one is also random.
Okay.
I think I'll turn the radio off for now. We'll need to save the batteries. We can check in later on it.
Okay.
What's the John yells up the ladder? What's the frequency on it?
I look. What is the frequency on it?
I should have written down a frequency.
666.
Is it on AM? Is it on AM or FM?
It is on AM.
Okay.
It's on AM. Okay.
I did at least write that down. I will get back to you.
Make it up.
10:50 a.m.
No, there is actually important frequencies in this world. So let me double check one of those, and I will get back. It is on AM, though, which is strange because none of you would be bothered to listen to AM radio. That's mostly news broadcasts and other weird adult things.
All right. Everyone take off. Blake, you're taking the radio?
Yeah.
I'll see if I can scrounge up some extra batteries.
We could just cut out the middleman and try to triangulate where it's broadcasting from. It's AM. Can't be that far.
No, AM goes further than FM.
Yeah, AM goes way further than
I'm
FM.
thinking a long wave. Which is even further. If only someone other than me owned some sort of transport that was faster than a bicycle.
Everything in Glenbrook is bicycleable.
Sorry, my character with the truck is on a different playthrough.
So, as I recall, it's about 20 minutes, half an hour from Glenbrook to the hospital.
to the hospital in New Arkham City via car, it's about 20 minutes.
Okay. So by bike, it's about an hour.
Yes.
Okay.
But you gotta count,
Saturday,
it's
you guys
winter.
help us.
You gotta count, it's winter. Now the sidewalks are cleared. Now the roads are cleared. So it's gonna be longer than an hour.
Lisa. All right.
Shane, just say it. I'll run you over. He sees that look on his face.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that, John. Thank you. Sunsets 6 o'clock. Meet back here
5:30.
5:30. Yeah.
Well, it depends how bad are the roads? What's the weather like? John will have checked out the weather forecast before he left the house.
You're muted.
Mike's muted.
Clear, cold, a little bit overcast.
Okay.
Let's hit it.
So yeah, John will throw off a tarp from his motorcycle, the world's fastest chicken, with the sidecar rig that is known as the coffin, and it gets wheeled in to the mill whenever he's here because it looks like a little more subtle, and it would take a TV a while to open the doors.
Let's not reflect on that statement. It would take a TV a while to open the doors. Let's.
Yeah.
They've
reflect
only
on
got
that
the little feeler antennas. That's why we don't have any antennas in the joint.
That is a
Huh?
perfect. That's a
Yeah,
perfect
that's
description
fair,
for
that's
this
fair.
world.
Yep.
So the two of you are headed to New Arkham to check in on your sister. Okay. And the plan was to meet back at the mill at what time?
5-ish, 5:30-ish.
Yeah.
Did we get the frequency?
Yes,
You did. It is
is.
AM 540.
Okay, so the radio is in the sidecar, so Shane can tune into it
Okay.
because there's a pretty hefty radio antenna.
Okay. So Blake and Rossy, what are you doing as the group sort of splits off with a timeline to meet back here tonight? So Blake and Rossy, what are you two doing?
Come on, Blake. Let's go check the Radio Shack.
Yeah. I have to go there eventually at some point. Right?
Very easy. The two of you get on your bikes and you pedal down Main Street, and you make your way to the strip mall where you know the Radio Shack to be. And the Radio Shack and all of the adjacent stores in the strip mall are barren. You can see that new plaster has been applied, but the entire place looks like it is being refurbished for a slew of new stores to move into. There is no longer a Radio Shack run in this town.
Does the door still look broken into from what they did, like, what was it, 2 weeks ago in timeline now?
I don't think it was actually broken. I think the door was just open.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just open. I'm
Just
gonna
not
check to
locked.
see if I'm gonna check to see if the door's locked.
You open the door you walk up to the door is not locked.
Do they not care about secrets? Just
Well, they expect everything to be moved out, but Mr. O'Rourke is like, I don't know what happened to him. Didn't he get arrested?
He is on the run in the wind. No one knows where he is. He closed the store one day and hasn't been seen since.
do you remember where they said the secret entrance was in this building? As Blake walks in.
You know that if you walk through the building back to where Mr. O'Rourke's side office was, like the back room essentially of this is, there is a subfloor underneath there. It's a basement latch down.
Yeah.
Russ,
in
do you
the
have a
back.
flashlight? Do you have a flashlight on you?
Mike, do I have a flashlight on me? No.
Yeah, I'm sure that's appropriate for your characters to have a flashlight.
I
You guys can have a
mean,
flashlight.
My character does a lot of. I guess my character does a lot of investigative stuff. So I
Yeah,
probably
you're
have
the investigative journalist. You have a flashlight.
Yay. So Rossy pulls out this small pocket flashlight. It's like basically something you'd see, like a long, small flashlight that you might see a mechanic carry when they're looking under your car.
All right. I crack open the hatch real quick and turn the flashlight on just to do like a quick scope to see if there's like, any dust settling down there, other footprints, not children-sized footprints, if I can see it.
There is a thin veneer of dust down there. There are no footprints whatsoever. It looks relatively clean down there as you like shine down the stairs.
All right. Blake will close the hatch. Oh, looks like no
I
one else
wonder-
visited.
Honestly, I kind of want to go down there because with Billy alive, do you think something's changed?
Well, a lot of things have changed since Billy's alive now, but I don't think the two of us alone should just go in.
I'm not
Plus-
so sure. And Rossy grabs his flashlight and starts walking down the secret latch stairs.
You walk down the secret latch stairs. They lead into a room that has it's a small room that looks like it would have held like a shelf around the side of it, and you see that it sort of like opens up into an area that like the other stores may have underneath as well. That like there's walls that sort of separate them. Several of these walls, in fact, I believe all of them, have holes smashed into them. Primarily the wall directly in front of you that would have led deeper, like back into the store, back into the underneath of the Radio Shack, has a sizable hole punched into that, enough that you could climb through it with ease. And in this place, you see nothing. There is cement walls, apart from the drywall here made to look like stone walls. If you look through the giant hole that's underneath the Radio Shack, it is entirely empty. Nothing in here whatsoever. And on the right-hand wall, there is a hole that seems to lead to a corridor that stretches on forever in one direction.
After messing with whatever that was, I still wonder. I'm still trying to figure out what's all changed with the timeline.
Well,
Because there probably is. It's like if there's nothing down here, but we know of O'Rourke, the Radio Shack games happen. It's just like, where's the cutoff point? Because
Well-
Billy Duncan's alive again, and wouldn't this be the epicenter?
I don't know. If anything, my guess is the loop is the is the central point of everything. This is just a side center, if anything. And if anything like what happened at the library with that mirror, I'm not going down that corridor. Not unless we're all here.
You don't have to tell me about the mirror. I know full well about the mirror. Ross has like that shadow heart moment with his scar from when he got cut by the mirror.
Yeah. So yeah, everything down here looks completely normal, other than holes punched in the walls and a strange hallway. And I will say this: your companions would have told you that there used to be, or there should be, banks of exploded computer, like a data center down here. There should have been desks, one belonging to O'Rourke, one belonging to a Dr. O'Rourke, and one belonging to a Dr. Kimber Lee, as well as this strange circular, like almost portal-looking device and a bunch of exploded computers down here. All of that is missing, or was never here.
Did they ever mention a corridor?
They did. They went through it, and it led to the forest, and nothing was around them when they exited.
Oh, Blake, do you have any ideas?
Well, if they moved everything out, they had to do it through the other exit they talked about because, as you clearly saw, there's no one walking through that dust trail. Or it was never here in this timeline. If if we are even in a different timeline.
This makes me wish I had firsthand information, but I wasn't here when they found this place.
As you guys muse about things that could have been, we will cut from here, across town, over the highway, and into New Arkham City, where the local hospital is. New Arkham General, where Shane and John head up, checking in through visitors hours, and back up to the third floor where Shane's sister is. Shane, you've been here time and time again. Sometimes here, sometimes ethereal in Dreamscape. Who knows how real things are? What are you doing here? What are you checking for?
Okay, so first of all, I'm sure that I know whoever's sitting at the front desk. So
Yes.
Exchange hellos and pleasantries and how you doings. And I think when I go to sign in, they kind of roll their eyes and shake their head at me a little bit, like, you are here so often, you don't have to do this, but I do it anyway.
Like no one comes
I'm
as often as you.
I'm pretty sure that Shane has a hospital ID by this point
Yeah.
on his own
Yeah.
locker.
If nothing else, I think John would have stolen one for him. So we get up to the third floor. Again, I check in with whoever's at the desk on desk duty today. And I ask if there's been any, how's she doing? Has there been any change? I know we saw a couple of spikes some weeks ago. You have any idea if there's been any others? Who should I check in with?
You get all the typical updates. You can check her chart. You can check with her doctor when he's available. You can wait in the lobby for that, or you can wait in the hallway for that, or her room for that. But none of the nurses have any updates for you. There's been no spikes. There's been no indications of waking. Nothing of the kind.
Okay. So I will then head to her room. I walk in. I stop for a second. I look very suspiciously up at the TV.
The TV is on and playing some essentially Lifetime, just whatever is on for network movies.
Shit, where's me bagging and PI VHS? Put on something of quality, god damn it.
And then I go and, at this point, no, I have no medical training, but I probably know my way around Lisa and her condition in her room well enough that I can do a quick check.
Mhm.
Is she as okay as she gets?
She is as okay as she has been.
Okay. I will actually flip through her chart.
Okay. Everything is indicated as normal. All life signs point to consistent with the coma that she has been in. No changes in eye movement, motion, or any self-awareness whatsoever in the last few weeks.
Okay. I assume there was a small spike about 2 weeks ago that coincides with the last episode. So I'm basically just checking.
Yes. Yep.
All right.
Yeah, John has come into the room, hung up his jacket, and just put his feet up and, and hung it out of the way. He comes here enough, and he's an old pro at hospitals. The amount of time that Chuck spent in hospitals, they're all the same because of her heart condition.
So I will drag the chair over to the side of her bed, sit down, take her hand in mine like I usually do, tell her about what went on earlier today, and usually, so I get the feeling something might happen tonight. So, if these spikes really are in response to this, hold on to your seat, I guess. Man, I wish you were awake. I don't care if you were my little sister. You were still always good to talk to. I miss you. I kind of, reach up and absentmindedly kind of fiddle with the heart pendant around my neck. All right. Sounds like we could use you if you want to, come hang out with us. That'd be great. Nope. Okay. And I put her hand down and I, lean over and I kiss her forehead. And I would like to wait until at least some staff member comes in to do some kind of check and could possibly give me, more detailed of an update. John, if that's okay with you?
Yeah. John's sort of used to being here, and he's of the opinion that Shane shouldn't be here alone. I mean, Lisa's here, but it's the similar sort of thing of him talking to himself, even though Lisa hears everything. John's read quite a bit on comas.
You sit there in the quiet. There's like a din outside of staff working, and the constant boop, boop of the machines sort of plays like a metronome as you two sit there quietly here. And a sharp, shrill beep, long and loud, cuts the silence. And you hear boop for like 30 seconds. And you look to the TV, the source of this sound, as it has gone to colored bars. And you hear emergency broadcast system. National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning for the following counties. Nipsachuk Valley. This is the emergency broadcast system. National Weather Services has issued a tornado warning for the following counties. Nipsachuk Valley. And it lists Nipsachuk Valley is the only county listed here. This continues, and you can hear boop, 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 boop coming from all of the other rooms as any TV that is on begins to play this broadcast. You see nurses and staffers outside sort of gawking into rooms as they look across this thing. Custodial staff come by, like they're moving around. You see that they're like, bringing like small like EMS equipment with them, and then the broadcast returns to normal, going back to whatever show was on in Lisa's room. The broadcast system has broadcasted its alert. And eventually a staff member does poke their head in as soon as they see that you're in there. One of the nurses, young, probably 20-something, pokes her head in and says, I'm sorry, can I help you with something? Was there something you needed?
Okay, so just because I did, was it a tornado watch or a tornado warning?
Tornado warning.
Okay, so tornado has actually been spotted. I was hoping to get any kind of update on her condition, but sounds like we got to get back on the road.
Mm-hmm.
We are ending visitors' hours now due to the warning. However, everything in her chart has been updated. As far as I'm understanding it, sorry, I'm just coming on shift. We haven't seen any signs or indication of anything in the last 2 weeks, I believe.
Yeah, but coma's the long game. People have come out of these things after years.
That's true. But if you're looking for updates, we haven't seen any.
All right. Any change, even just a little spike, please call. If no one's home, we have an answering machine.
Yes.
If we still have power at that point.
Standard protocol. We will let you know.
Thank you.
As the two of you make your way outside, serendipitously timed with Blake and Rossy exiting the Radio Shack, you see that in the sky, For Shane, you see this for Shane and John. You see this to the west, the northwestish from where you are. And Blake and Rossy, you see this overhead. You see that the clouds are ostensibly purple, which is strange. You've never seen purple clouds before. You see purple clouds that seem to be spinning in like a, clockwise sort of tornado-esque motion. Yeah, so you see this tornado warning. Well, sorry, you don't see the tornado warning. You see this purple tornado forming. What do you all do?
I immediately turn the radio back on.
You
doesn't
you
look
immediately get
good.
hit with a across all AM bands that same EMS emergency broadcast. This is the emergency broadcast system. Effective immediately. There's a tornado warning in the following counties: Nipsachuk Valley, and that repeats.
That just occurred to me. How old is that message, and could tomorrow noon be today now?
Roll me comprehend. Both of you can roll me comprehend if you'd like. Blake, comprehend. You recall, and Rossy. So Blake, you recall this from memory. Rossy, you have the wherewithal to just reach down out of your pocket and open up your journal, and you recall, beware the sky's cryptic message as reality bends under a phantom storm. Nothing about a date, nothing about tomorrow, nothing about a time frame.
No, but the other two messages were.
Yeah, the other two, tomorrow at the stroke of noon.
Yes.
And now my brain's thinking, were we slightly late to that message? Because it's close to noon by now. And now weird stuff is happening.
That is true.
Do you think we should go back inside?
I will remind you that the entire front of this strip mall is glass. So do with that information what you'd like.
There's a downstairs under the Radio Shack.
There
Yeah.
is a downstairs.
But if the building collapsed, do you really want to be trapped downstairs just in case the other entrance also gets stuck and no one knows we're in here?
Mike,
close
how close is this wall cloud to us, and in what direction is it heading?
It doesn't seem to be moving. It seems to be directly over Glenbrook.
It is completely stationary.
It seems to be, other than the fact that the clouds are moving in a circular motion. They don't seem to be moving like away from you. This formation seems to be stationary.
Question. From here, what's closer? The school, the library, or my house?
Technically the library. You're just off of Main Street.
I think we should head to the library for shelter. At least for the moment.
You know what? Fair enough. Better than here.
You will note that there are storm shelters in Glenbrook for hurricanes, but there are no tornado shelters in here. Tornadoes are not common.
Yeah.
Yeah. At this point in real life history, there have been 7 reported tornadoes in actually, I'm sorry. There have been, at this point in time, 5 reported tornadoes. The last one being in August of 1985.
But many more hurricanes.
Oh yeah. Like those are like wet tornadoes.
Well, in hurricanes, shelters wouldn't be underground because he would drown.
Yes. That would be like the gymnasium.
Yeah, they're shelters. These were underground shelters with sump pumps. Someone thought that through.
So yeah, where do the two of you head?
Safest guest library.
Okay.
Rossy was okay with the library because at least there might be other people there.
Okay. You guys head that way. John and Shane, where are you headed back to as quickly as possible?
Well, John was going to ask, do you think you want to get ahead of this dude? I mean, chicken will go 80 miles an hour if traffic's clear. Or do we call my mom? Because, she's got to... People didn't really lift trucks in the 80s, but Dr. Sam Collins has a huge Dodge Power Wagon that will get through any floodwater.
Yes. I don't want to take the time to stop and find a payphone. Let's just head to
Okay, sure.
that place. Maybe how convenient would it be to swing by the Radio Shack on the way to your place? I just want to see if Blake and Rossy are still there.
It's literally on the way. I live off Main.
Yeah, let's swing by the Radio Shack real quick.
Mhm.
Basically, if we don't see them, because we are, of course, we are heading right towards it.
Mm-hmm. I hear people in your country do this for fun. Storm chasing.
I don't think storm chasing was a popular concept.
I
in the
think
80s.
it got a little bit more popular in the 90s, but I don't know if it was
when the
popular
movie
in the
Twister
80s.
happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, Twister blew up storm chasing.
72. National Fair Storms Laboratory. University of Oklahoma.
You head back across the highway over towards Glenbrook, essentially in the same direction of this storm. Shane and John, by the time you get to the Radio Shack, it is the door is open. Whether left that way or it must have been left that way, because despite the roiling clouds, it's not very windy here. Just a spinning, strange cloud. And you note that no one is there. There's no one present inside the store. If you check downstairs, no one's there either. And as you exit the Radio Shack, it begins to rain. Rain collecting in small puddles around you and soaking whatever you're wearing. And both of you can roll me an investigation check.
The old
I have to ask
dumpster.
because it is the 80s and it is, is it purple rain?
Roll me an investigation check.
Let me just crow about the two successes. People don't know that John's sister is a licensed investigator, and she'd be so proud.
The two of you look around.
Well, Shane knows.
And strangely enough, the rain is purple.
Oh, Prince's people are gonna sue.
No, right?
Sue the earth.
Purple rain.
We're nowhere near Minneapolis. All right, let's get to your place. Yeah.
Sure.
You hop back on the bike. You make your way over towards Main Street. And you see, we'll say, serendipitous timing, you see the ass end of Rossy headed into the library. As he's closing the door behind him.
Oh, cool. That's at least a shelter.
Yeah. Sounds good. Maybe find a place under an overhang for the bike. They are not going to want us to take it inside.
It's got a sidecar. We'll just go over the street and walk. The place that came with Jack's loop job is the old Penobscot diesel shop and very psycho-y house on a hill behind it. So
Okay.
yeah, they can just roll it into the shop, grab further waterproofs and head back out.
Yep.
Okay. You head back towards the library where you see Blake and Rossy are sitting there watching the purple rain fall.
I'm not a religious man, but Is Purple Rain some sort of sign of the apocalypse I missed? I didn't go to
No,
Sunday school
if
very
it was blood red, I'd be more concerned about that.
I
You
don't
see,
think
we had cricket
purple
practice
is
back
in the
in Wrighton.
Bible.
Yeah. You see, we had cricket practice on Sundays back in Wrighton, and I'd rather be at the crease than in church.
I don't blame you.
Blake's gonna turn on the radio and change to the local station real quick and wonder if someone's requested Purple Rain.
I was going to request Riders on the Storm myself.
I don't think that song exists at this time period.
Riders on the Storm came out in the 70s.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You
Came out in the
turn
60s.
on
Oh
That's
wait,
true.
I'm thinking of a different song.
you turn on the radio, and you hear a broadcast on the radio, like a broadcast bulletin from the news that says, "Weather gone wild. Glenbrook's forecasts predict otherworldly conditions." This sounds like a local news anchor, not some sort of ominous radio demon. And then they go on to discuss, they go on to
Man's gotta have a
discuss
hobby.
the strange, cylindrical clouds and the strange purple rain. Anyone who thinks they might be looking out a window can roll me an investigation check.
Yep.
Yep.
2 successes.
Petition to change the name of this particular group to Team Genius.
There's quite a bit of successful rolls here.
Yeah.
All right, so Shane, John, and Rossy. You note that across the street from the library is a place called Pet Haven. And you can see that inside Pet Haven, there are a bunch of, puppies that are in the window, as one would want to have, to sell animals. And they are pressed up against the glass, like up on their hind legs, and like jumping, like, dogs would do. And you can tell that they are all like barking. All of them. Like mad. Not like foaming at the mouth Cujo, but like they're like barking and like as if something that you cannot see has excited them.
And I'm assuming on a large glass window facing out into the street.
Yeah, that says Pet Haven.
It's not really a pet haven, is it?
You're going to
They
make me
leave
run
it to-
across the street to save puppies, aren't you, Mike?
I'm not going to make you do anything. Rossy,
No, John's a cat person.
Rossy, you are in fact an investigative journalist. You look over at this and you see Pet Haven. You see the hopping puppies all barking about something. And you notice something that John and Shane don't seem to notice. Too caught up in the fact they're so adorable. They're hopping and barking in tandem? All at the same time?
Dogs can
like
hear ultra-high
perfectly
frequencies.
synchronized, like not even off by a millisecond.
Yeah, seemingly perfectly synchronized, yeah.
Guys, can't dogs hear ultra high frequencies? They can hear
Yeah.
a much broader range than humans, right?
At least on the high end, yeah.
Something's setting them off.
Something is commanding those dogs because they are jumping way too in sync.
Shit, you're right.
Blake quickly switches back to the AM side, goes all the way down to 540.
Static.
Static.
Leave it there for a bit. It's random.
Yeah.
Also, we're inside a very thick stone building, so this improvised antenna isn't.
It's probably framed. It's probably cast iron frame as well.
I'm gonna go ask the librarian if they have like a little like mini tape recorder I can borrow for a minute.
Oh, quick question: is my dad actually here today?
Yeah, your dad is here today, and he does have a tape recorder. Your dad sees you over there, like playing with the radio. He sees your friends gathered together, and he sees you with friends. So he's pro. He's pro.
No, he is.
Yeah. So whatever you're doing, sport, he's in full support of whatever this is. So whether the library actually has a usable tape recorder is one thing, but he finds you one and gets that for you to further support his son having friends.
Wouldn't Blake's dad know Rossy, because Rossy's anchor is the school librarian?
There are multiple librarians, and this is
the public.
this is
I
the
was about
town
to say,
library.
Protected network.
This is the 80s before they slashed all the budget for that stuff.
There is
because
not
Shane's
a
mum is also works it.
there is not a
Librarians Union.
yeah, there is not a secret underground librarian cult here.
I would hope that they were some sort of collective of librarians that document the weird phenomena, but that sounds like a fanfic I should write.
Right.
So librarian James Williams provides you with a tape recorder.
I'm gonna go outside and just like take a record. I will, raincoat on, so I don't get completely drenched. I'm gonna go outside and just kind of like walk around for a minute with the tape, with the recorder recording, trying to go both, getting across the street at least one point to Pet Haven. Not actually going in, but just like seeing if, just basically getting ambient noise.
Okay, I mean, it sounds like a storm. I mean, not that you can hear much of anything, but
Yeah.
It sounds like a storm. Do you eventually you cross the street over to Pet Haven? Are you entering Pet Haven, or are you just recording outside?
The storm's getting worse.
No, it's just a
Okay.
purple rainstorm with the weird, ominous circular clouds.
Now that I'm closer, is there anything more that I can tell about the dogs?
They are barking in synchronous.
Unison?
Yep.
But they don't look like they don't look like they don't look Cujo.
They don't look Cujo. They don't look like robots.
Okay. I'll try the door.
Okay, you open it. It's a facility that's open during the day. It's a business.
Okay.
You walk into a cacophony of barking sounds, as well as meows and blubs from fish tanks, and the hum of electricity, of lamps and things for lizard tanks. And you can tell now that the dogs are barking in synchronous, and the cashier, his name's Eddie, young, like 16, 17-year-old, pimple-faced, in a red shirt that says Pet Haven, is just looking in stupefied wonder as the dogs all hop and jump at the same time.
All right. Because I do remember the thing about beasts shall speak in dots and dashes. So I'm gonna just record the dogs for a couple of minutes.
Okay? You do so. Easy enough.
Right. I shout a thanks to the kid behind the counter. I scramble back across to the library. Like, Morse code, right?
Yeah. I actually have a book over here.
Yeah, there's like, we're in a library.
I
If
reach
you
over
don't
to the
know it,
library,
there's a-
grab the one book.
It still has the property of Blake Williams bookplate in the front.
Yeah.
I kind of toss him the recorder, say, "Can we see if this means anything?"
Yeah.
Play back the last few
Rossy
minutes.
opens up his journal and he's sitting there ready to write down whatever dots and dashes he can hear.
You collectively do that, and with the sum total force of the book and knowledge in Morse code from several of you, there's no need to roll for this. You make out, at least you're fairly confident, that you make out the letters S, the number 7, and the letter G.
Well, it's not enough to be coordinates.
Mean anything to anyone?
I think I may be misremembering this, but aren't there certain type of maps that do have like the whole, like a chessboard, like A's and 2's, like columned out for like a local map?
Could be a grid
There
reference.
could be.
S7G1.
Rossy, go ahead and roll me a comprehend. I'll take a comprehend or an investigate. A comprehend. Okay, cool. You have done a lot of research in general, and also specifically here in the library, about the goings-on of Glenbrook. What you're allowed to write for the school paper and what you want to write about are often two different things. For some reason, S7G sticks out in your mind. Something you have researched before. Or stumbled across in your research before. S7G could stand for Sector 7G. Sector 7G was a loop facility on the outskirts of Glenbrook that is now defunct, no longer used, and you discovered that it had once been used as for communication research during the heat of the Cold War. It has now since been no longer used. It is a abandoned but still cordoned off building.
All the other characters see is Rossy just go, S7G, where have I heard that before? And then just a moment of silence, and then he picks up his journal, he's frantically searching through the pages, and he lands on one, he points at it, is like, the loop.
Oh, we kind of
Well, it didn't take Brain of Britain to work that out.
No, but this is
And he
an actual
picks it up.
potential correlation.
Come on, we got a place to be.
What is it? Military project number?
Sector 7G, an old loop facility.
7. That's early. Yeah. 50s?
I mean, we're in the library. We could look at what records we do have, but if I remember last time, not much.
It's going to be at least a 30-year secret act. So if it was early 50s, we might get lucky.
They don't have to release information. It's not.
No.
It's no.
No.
It's not Britain where we believe in cricket and fair play. I get
Yeah, there's no what is it, American Secrecy Act yet? That doesn't happen yet. That doesn't happen until the late 80s.
Yeah.
So you have this information, and Blake, you're not wrong. There is tragically little information about the stuff going on with the loop.
Could head out there.
Yep.
Okay.
Rossy is already heading out the door.
Before we go, I grab the tape recorder, hand it back to you, and say thank you.
He looks to you and sort of gives you a thumbs up. He says, "Anything else you need, buddy? We're here for you."
If we can see across the road, is John's mum's truck there? That might get us over there faster and less flooded out.
Sure. What's an illegal truck drive?
He was
Your
gonna
dad
ask his mum for the keys.
doesn't make it less illegal. Blake, your dad. Sorry, James reaches down behind the counter and hands you an umbrella. As you are following your friends, you see John is running towards Penobscot Diesel, and headed over towards a large truck, let's say a Ford.
It's a Dodge Power Wagon.
Oh, there you go, perfect. You see him running over towards that as he bounds into the house and returns with a set of keys that I can only imagine has a lucky rabbit's foot on it.
His mother's a scientist. So no,
could be. You never know.
Scientists are still superstitious.
It might have some sort of good luck charm from the Isle of Man.
I mean, it could be an experimental rabbit.
Experimented on rabbit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, then the rabbit wasn't so friggin' lucky unless it regrows its feet.
Well, Maybe it does. You guys hop in the truck, sort of
It-
throw bicycles in the back of this thing, and head
yeah,
off.
As long as you just go.
Yeah, and you guys head off towards this sector 7G. Anyone who's not John, roll me an investigation. John is hopefully too busy driving.
We hope.
Shit.
Well, I don't need
Damn!
to. Look at the genius. Just
Um,
their genius for a
First
second.
0 of the
I was
session.
about to say, I think that may be the first check that we failed.
Yeah. Rossy, you are nose deep in your book, and you're writing as much information as you possibly can. And as you are, Shane and Blake, you're looking out the window. Shane looking out the window over John, and Blake sort of looking out the window just directly left of you. And you see, as John zooms past the Bowl-O-Rama, you see that the arcade that is, the newest edition of the Bowl-O-Rama. Again, Shane, you may have your own concerns with the Bowl-O-Rama, but you see the arcade. There is chaos happening in the arcade. The lights are on. Everything seems to be flashing in there like a fireworks show. And you see all of the screens as you zoom by in seconds. You see so many of the screens flashing, and kids and adults are swarming as coins fly out of the insert coin section of the arcade. Just pew, 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 coming out of there as lights and flashes and stuff happens with that. Yeah, as you all zoom past this, making your way to the outskirts of town to where Rossy has indicated Sector 7G. There, you see a not even a barely existent path where the grass and nature has grown over a road that once was, right? You see a small, squat building with a large, broken satellite dish on top of it, and beside it is an antenna, like a radio broadcast antenna.
So I think
I-
as we're driving past the Bowl-O-Rama, because Blake and I we are apparently on the same page today. I think we again kind of catch each other's eyes and kind of mouth together the ghosts of games past.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Um,
So I was right with my earlier assumption. We were wrong at what day it was. It was today. This is
or time is relative,
Yeah.
Einstein once said
Shit is relative.
I think Blake would also click on the radio to see if the signal's stronger here, since he's
Yeah,
clocked
if
that.
he wants to
that
lean
antenna.
over to the front.
Yeah, you tune John's radio to AM 540, and this is the most clear you've heard this happen before. You hear those same lines in sequence again sporadically as you're driving towards this direction. Beware
I
the
feel like
sky's
we had
cryptic
enough
messages.
radios, we could triangulate it.
That's true. Beware the sky's cryptic messages as reality bends under a phantom storm. Followed by followed by when the clocks mark twilight, beasts shall speak in dots and dashes. Secrets unveiled. And then tomorrow at the stroke of noon, the ghosts of games past play once again, unrestrained by human hands.
Is it still
Now,
bef-
can we
is it
put
still
Susie
morning?
Quattro back on?
No, with the amount of time you guys have been traveling, it's probably early afternoon.
Okay.
So it's
Now
afternoon.
put the Susie Quattro mixtape back where it lives.
Blake puts
Um,
it back.
As you go to put that back in, you hear, as the veil thins this eve, shadows lengthen, and the others whisper through the cracks of our reality. Heed not their call, lest their malevolence seep through and engulf our world in darkness.
That's not good.
Okay. You talk faster than I type. Like,
I will, if I'm,
Thank you.
I will send it to you.
appreciate that. There we go.
For those that need a recap. As the veil thins this eve, shadows lengthen, and the others whisper through the cracks of our reality. Heed not their call, lest their malevolence seep through and engulf our world in darkness.
Yeah, there's no way that could be bad.
Malevolence. Never been a big fan of malevolence.
I think Blake kind of thinks back to the mirror incident to where he kind of felt a call. Is wondering if this is going to be somehow connected to that again.
Well,
Blake, as you go to press as you have the cassette in your hand, right, and you're going to push it into the radio, and this happens, that hand you're holding the cassette in is ice cold. Like as if there's no blood in your hand.
and that's not just because of the reflection of how cool Susie Quattro is.
Did anyone else just feel a temperature drop?
Nope.
Nope.
John checks and the heat is on a comfortable low.
I just touched one of the other guys with my hand because why do I feel this cold?
You touch someone else with your hand hand feels normal, human body temperature.
But maybe you're sensitive to whatever this veil thinning is. I mean, if you subscribe to the many worlds theory, could be the thinning of the veil between our world and another. Who knows what's in those other worlds? It could be Lovecraftian horror. It could be, who friggin' knows? I mean, in this town, my money's on the Lovecraftian horror.
And Blake is also kind of thinking back to the mirror again and remembered that's the hand that he was forcibly raising up in a handshake.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of does the 100-yard stare before we go in.
Down to Devilgate Drive.
You pull up your mom's truck outside of this strange building, overgrown with vines and flora, and you see that there is a steel double door, outside of which has a live keypad, like a powered, not an alive.
How
clear
old
enough
is this
world.
keypad, and how much have the correct numbers worn down?
This keypad looks like it hasn't been used in decades. So with time, everything looks worn down. You can assume that it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, star 0 pound.
Yeah. Do you,
Can I-
right, lads? That's not a pound symbol. That's a hashtag.
Is there barbed
Anyway,
wire on top?
do you boys want to do that, or am I getting the crowbar out of the truck?
Blake will give it a shot.
There is barbed wire on the roof around the satellite dish, stopping people from climbing up there. Go ahead and give it a shot. This would be a program.
Well, can I try to roll investigation to try to see if there's any different where?
Yes, but you will need 2 successes to do that.
All right. Come on, third time's the charm. Damn.
You can push. You can spend a
All right.
luck. You can push and take a condition, or you can spend a luck and just re-roll.
I'll take a condition.
You don't want to spend a luck for free.
You got
Might as
it.
well.
You have 2 luck.
Yeah,
if you got it,
you know
use it.
what? Yeah, I'll spend it.
Okay. So check off one of your lucks, and go ahead and just hit that re-roll button. 2 successes.
There you go.
You examine this thing. You sort of wipe away the dirt and grime that's on here, and you can make out enough detail of what is weathered and what is dissolved in the oils of human skin, and you find the combination for this. which is good because it is a 10-digit pin combination as you beep boop beep boop beep boop beep boop boop through this whole thing.
Are we sure that Blake isn't a robot?
Well, and you see the light. There's two lights, a red light and a green light, and the red light switches off, and the green light ding switches on, and you hear a loud thunk on the door.
That's it, Blake. You get unfettered access to my Commodore 64. It'll be better in your hands.
Thanks. Blake pushes the door open, not stepping through, but
Yeah. This looks like for Rossy, this is a dream. This looks like everything you would expect of an abandoned government facility. It is covered in layers of dust. Most of the things are removed from here. Like there's no like small like a personal like there's nothing in here is of this time, right? There's no like computers in the way that you would think of computers here in the 80s, like a Commodore or an Apple or the Macintosh rather. Everything is huge. Everything is bolted to the floor. There are a few desks. There is some paper in places, but everything in here is preserved, almost like a time capsule. There's no like dirt in it, just a thick layer of dust. And as you walk in, it's not like segmented into offices. It's just one large open room, and you see banks of these like steel bolted to the wall computers that come up, sort of have a jutting out keyboard. The keyboard is actually part of the actual thing, and then slanted screens that sort of lean back into the wall with a small viewing window on them. All of them have the round 8-ball mice for them. You see that. You also see what... Yeah, MTV came out, right? MTV's out. You see what you can only imagine to be like a DJ booth or like a producer's booth, where there's like a bunch of like knobs and dials and buttons and sliders and all kinds of other things with like a ticker tape readout of something. Obviously, the paper is gone here, but this seems to be a complicated array of computational communication devices herein. What do you all do?
Me mum
Puts
wrote
up his flashlight and sweeps it around the room.
I was also gonna.
I was gonna say if you're looking around the room, anyone who's looking around can roll me and investigate.
Sure.
Ooh. Let me just get that.
Damn.
Jesus.
Like I said,
We
what
are
does
on
John
fire
Sister
today.
do for a living?
The Scooby-Doo
It's
gang
finally
here.
rubbing off.
I feel bad for the next one shots rolled. They're gonna be
So,
cursed.
so this is the kind of computer my mum wrote her thesis on. Yeah, IBM. We have them back in the homeland. There's buildings full of these on the Oxford campus. I've seen them before.
Yeah. Yeah, you I'll say this. John, for whatever reason, you know enough about these computers to know that they are they're even written in they're kind of IBMs. I believe they are modified from a Germanic prototype, and so the basic language written in these things is not. There's no like. You have to know the code to be able to even read anything. It's not in like. It's not like Unix or BASIC, where like knowing some of the words will get you half the way. It would be nearly impossible for you to like reprogram one of these things. However, with three successes,
considering I only have a 1 in program.
Yeah. With 3 successes, all of you look around and you see, like I said, paperwork, all kinds of like weird stuff happening in here. It doesn't look like it was left in a hurry. But it does look like a lot of stuff was just like forgotten here. It looks like it has not been used in, your guess, at least 20, if not 30 years, right? Well outside the amount of time you've been alive. I will say, you see that there are, all of you see that there are still things that are active here. John, with a 3 success, you note that there are motion sensors that are still active in this place. You see one of them is over the door, casting a barely visible light, probably like 10 feet in front of the door. So anyone that breaks that beam, you're assuming, I'll say no one has broken that beam yet. And you see another one on the opposite side of the room, sort of casting that same way.
John,
bleeding-
if no one's entered, John's going to hold out his arm and be like, lads, we got motion sensors here.
So you see,
it's an old ass building. They might think it's rats.
you see 2 of them coming in. So like one is coming in from this door, and one of them is over the back door, like a door that leads outside, which you can guess that is where that leads out into the chain linked area, the chain link fenced area where the antenna is. Anyone who rolled a 2, you see, so John and Blake, I believe, you see a collapsed, small, maybe like 10 inches, robot. It has track legs, like a tank track. It's about 10 inches tall. Its base is square, and it's probably like 6 by 6. I don't know what that is in centimeters. I don't know, like 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters, something along those lines.
John's old school. He still uses in inches.
There you go. And it has 2 articulating clamped arms, and a large, like, rectangular head that looks like almost like a calculator screen, like a digital screen. And you can see that it is attached to cables that are like running off of one of the desks, and in its hands are clamps that are clamping the cables together. Your best guess is this was designed for cable maintenance, this robot. And John, with your 3 successes, as you look around, trying to skirt the proximity sensors, you see a folder that is on one of the desks with like that typical like government, for official use only, secret, blah blah blah. And you see a label on there that is like stamped that says Project Sunstreak.
This is getting very Star Wars, and I mean the project. This is Project Sunstreak. Rossy, you got anything on that?
Rossy, if he's found documents, is immediately next to him, and he's already moving to slowly open it to be very delicate.
Yeah, it could be very old paper, but motion sensors.
Yes.
So
how are you getting past the motion sensors?
I can bust out a screwdriver and take them out, but how long's that going to buy us?
You can
Well-
roll me a tinker.
Sure can. Nothing.
I think Blake is
If I
also
use my
gonna-
iconic item, can I
What-
get a reroll on that?
What is your iconic item?
It's his Stanley Yankee screwdriver, so
Your iconic item would give you additional 2d6 to roll.
yeah.
So just roll me 2d6.
Okay. Oh man, 2D. Yeah.
Nope.
Nothing.
No successes. You cannot seem to
Nothing I can do.
find purchase. There's no like screws on this thing
Yeah.
for it to pop off.
How much
Yeah,
luck
there's
do you
nothing
have?
I can do. I mean, apart from brute forcing and prying them off. So we've got as long as it takes loop security to get out here to the boondoggles, and
If
then as fast as I
anything,
can drive away.
if the motion trackers are still active and they're watching them, the fact I put in a passcode to open it probably sent off an alarm anyway.
Yeah.
So I think we should probably hurry and check everything we can.
That's
Uh,
fair.
I mean, if my dad shows up,
Upon
I'll just
Blake
deny that he's my
saying
father.
that, Rossy immediately is like, well, I'm gonna go with his theory and immediately just doesn't care about the motion sensors anymore.
Quick. If my dad shows up, it'll just end in an argument anyway. So you guys slink off whilst he's yelling at me, and then I'll call him a failure. How it goes.
Blake kind of wants to look over the robot and investigate it closer.
You look at the robot. You can roll me a tinker.
All right.
Rossy is taking his flashlight and he's looking at the Project Sunstreak and he's opening it up slowly and basically reading it.
I will get to that in 1 second. I have to retcon something because I read the wrong note, and that's just me. Terrible. With the tinker, you look at this thing, and it seems to be missing whatever power cell, whatever powered this thing, is defunct. It's also old as all hell. It looks like Gen 0 level of robotics here. And your best guess is in the arms, the little like Lego hands, there's like tracks on the arms that they come out of, and the Lego hands are clamps. So you imagine it produces somewhere, like it has like a stapler almost, right? It has these things loaded in, and they come down the arms, and it clamps cables. So that's like a one-use item there for cable management. That seems
Blake
to
is
be
just
all
gonna
it
say
does.
out loud, "This is the most laziest, useless robot I've ever seen."
Yes, that is correct. For Rossy, the retcon is, my apologies, it's not called Sunstreak. It's called Gondola Wish, which I will put in the chat as well.
Ugh, somebody
for
really fucking wanted to go to Italy. Why don't you give up the fucking evil mad science and go and see bloody Venice?
You know, you open this thing and you see Project Gondola Wish. What you see in the single piece of paper that's in there, go ahead and roll me comprehend.
That is a 1.
Perfect. You look at this, and you see this is absolute nonsense. This reports to an intelligence source claiming that the Soviet Union spent somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 million rubles annually for the past several years, researching psychotronics in an effort to utilize psychics to remote view locations. That's what you get from this document.
Is that read out aloud?
Sure.
Psychotronics. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I've heard of it. Remote viewing's like a phenomena. I got a friend at home, Candice. She's into all of this paranormal ESP stuff. It's like telepathy, but you get someone to like. It would be perfect for spying if it worked.
Blake's like, "So what? A Jedi mind trick and this robot would move?" And he just does like a jokingly wave the hand.
Nothing happens. For the record.
Yeah, I know. See?
So as this conversation is happening, Shane has also decided to heck with the motion sensors, and he is going outside to check out the antenna.
You roll me roll me a comprehend. If you're just looking at it. One success on comprehend.
Got it.
The antenna, as far as you can tell, there is like looking at all the junction boxes and what's happening. The antenna is receiving power in the same way that the keypad was receiving power and that the sensor lights were receiving power. This is based on everything you can surmise here. This is the point of origin for that broadcast.
He heads back inside and conveys that knowledge to the rest of the group.
Yeah, but what's triggered this? Is it a real dimensional infiltration, or is it a drill? And then why the fuck aren't the people that are qualified showing up? I'm not saying that you guys are any less qualified than any of the maniac scientists they employ at the Loop. I mean, you're not maniacs, so that's a good thing.
Has the wall cloud
Thanks.
made any progress? Or is it just still
Nope.
up there?
The wall of clouds is still circling overhead ominously, and it is still raining purple.
So what? Since I was out in the rain, just a moment ago, is it when I come back inside? I mean, does it just look like water that's had like purple food coloring in it?
Yep.
Or okay.
Yep, it's not like viscous or oily or of a strange consistency. It's just water that just seems to be purple. Weird, but seemingly innocuous.
Does
Wish
it
I had a litmus test.
does it stay purple after, like the water that's on my skin? I'm assuming is purple. Has it stayed purple when it came inside? Does it stay purple when it drops? Does it stay purple when
Yes.
it hits the floor?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, varying levels of like of opacity depending on what it's on, but yeah, it's still see-through like water. It's not like a full solid like a drop of paint.
Yeah, but it's
Ugh, if
still distinctly purple.
Yeah.
as long as it's not removing paint from any trucks.
Nope. It seems to just be purple
Yeah.
water for all you can tell.
All right, who wants to be the one to drink it?
No. I got a plan for the future, mate. Not happening to me. I'd like to go home alive, not in a pine box.
Well, Blake, you volunteered yourself.
I always do, don't I? Blake goes outside, head up, mouth open, let the rain fall in.
Head up, mouth open.
Sometimes the smartest people are the most fucking dumb.
Yeah, that's
God, I'm glad I'm an average intelligence, dude.
You all watch Blake disappear from existence. No, you all watch Blake
And he
head
never
outside.
existed. Let's all go home.
Yeah, no one's ever heard of Blake Williams. It's the weirdest thing. You all watch fuck. You all watch Blake walk outside, close his eyes, tilt his head back, and stick his tongue out like he's trying to catch a snowflake. And you stand there with this purple rain splattering on your face, and it has no taste.
Comes back in, he's going to talk like Elvin.
Yeah, it tastes like water as far as you can tell.
Blake, if he comes in from being that stupid, Blake, stop being that goddamn brave in my presence. I'm not sure if that was mighty brave, mighty foolish, or a little from column A, little from column B.
Well, nothing so far.
Yeah, but maybe it takes effect. It takes like 48 hours to come into effect, and then they'll Billy Duncan you. You'll turn into a tentacly TV.
Well, I mean, we've all been soaked by it. It's going to get absorbed in the skin one way or another.
Sounds like, dude. I was completely wrapped up against the rain. Nothing hit my skin.
Shane was just out in it, looking at the antenna. All right, so the antenna. Can I try to see like the wires that are powering the antenna? Can I make any correlation to anything inside here?
Yeah, roll me comprehend.
There's got to be a schematic around here somewhere, right?
Nope, can't find it.
You can push your roll. You can't spend luck because
I have
you're
no luck.
and what is your What's your pride?
Okay, my pride is I have no limits. I can always push myself harder.
I mean, you could spend a pride for this to get an automatic success, or you can push yourself.
No, I think I'm just going to let the 0 stand.
Okay. So you guys see Shane is looking around at cables, trying to make heads or tails of this, as Blake experiments with his own body. Take that as you will. What is everyone else doing? Rossy, John, specifically.
John's gonna look around for schematic.
Okay. Roll me investigate.
Mm-hmm. Watch this suck.
Another
After
0.
after all of the
all-
great, yes,
All downhill from here, boys.
all downhill.
And Rossy, what are you doing?
Rossy is looking for more documents.
Okay, roll me investigate.
Rossy, if we can find schematic, we might make sense of this.
3 successes.
3 successes.
That'll do.
Rossy, you find a document that looks to be a schematic. Sorry, you find 2 documents. Both look to be schematics. One looks to be a schematic for a 1950s level technology electromagnetic pulse gun. And one seems to be some sort of schematic array for this building. And what you note on that with a 3 investigate is that the satellite dish is directly tied to these computers, are directly tied to the antenna. So whatever is being broadcast is being picked up from the antenna here. I will also say, you know what? With a third investigate, yeah, it's a pretty spicy investigate. You find haphazardly written on a piece of paper are all 3 of the original messages you received via the AM radio, all dated the same date, which would be let me see here. They're all dated 1954. But I'll get you the exact date if you're so curious.
John,
they are all
over here.
They are all dated Monday, February 15th, 1954.
And what is today's date?
February
15th, 1986.
6.
John,
Yes, Chief.
your schematics. And he pulled.
Thank you.
And Rossy is folding it. He's about to pocket the one about the electromagnetic pulse gun.
Fair enough.
He should be pocketing the electromagnetic pulse gun, but it's 50s technology. So if you find it, it's going on the bed of the truck.
Yeah, so all of these messages are written, all dated Monday, 15 February, 1954. And the paper looks like it is about 30 years old.
So can I roll a calculate or something?
What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to figure out what has set it off. If it's an automatic system, because it must have been, right? Otherwise, we're dealing with some more strange time dilations.
Yeah.
But the
Go
dust
ahead.
in here looks like it's been 30 years.
If you're trying to figure out what set it off, go ahead and roll me. Roll me a calculate with a +1 bonus for the schematics.
That's only the 1. Is it enough?
Hey, 1 is enough. Whatever's happening here looks like it was not meant to happen. Your best guess, looking at these schematics and looking at the various breakers and electronics that are here, you begin to see patterns of small scorch marks, as in some sort of power surge or something surge activated this place. Yeah, it does not seem like it was activated with any intention right now.
I'm not sure if the phenomena that how came first, the chicken or the egg, because it looks like, can you see these? Yeah, the relays here burnt out. That's what started to trigger this message. But then It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
The message here is right. There's a messages right here. It's dated in the 1950s.
Yeah, I saw that. And the tech here, 1950s, dust has piled up, implying that nobody's been here in, 30 years? Don't make me check the milk in the fridge. I don't need to look at that prehistoric stuff.
Should we just start searching for the off switch?
Did you all even date milk over here in the 50s? I don't know. You probably just rolled the dice.
They only dated people in the 50s.
Yeah.
Dated people
in the
certainly come
50s,
from
you
the
got
50s.
delivered fresh bottles every
Yeah.
morning.
Yeah,
But
you're supposed to go through all the bottles in one day. Usually.
Might have a dairy stamp on it, though. But that could be from years before.
So 32 years ago today. What's different? What's the connection?
Well, you know the saying, history always repeats itself.
History is cyclical.
Yeah, but this is
So buy
really
motorcycles.
exact.
Yeah. Blake is gonna go over to one of the computers and just click like enter randomly on it, see if there's like a command still waiting to be activated.
You know what? Roll me program.
Yay.
Out fucking standing. You walk over there and you just sort of shrug after just having tasted Purple Rain, and you hit the enter key, and you hear what would have been like the ticker tape printer sort of like start to like, but nothing comes out of it. It just like spools, like the printer spool is empty, so it's making the noise of that and the whirring of gears, and then all of you hear a loud wrenching of metal and grinding of gears, and a little bit of dust falls from the ceiling, as you all kind of inherently know that the satellite dish on top of this building is moving ever so slightly, just enough to like rock the building a little bit.
That thing needs, like, greasing.
It stops, and then the dust sort of falls on you guys.
Lovely.
Is the printer still going?
The printer stops, and as you look around, the light sensors that John had pointed out before are dead. There's no more light coming from them, and any further touching of anything does not produce any sounds or any sort of automated response.
Well, I doubt
I
they're going to
fixed
be
the
sending
issue.
maintenance.
Well, I shut it off.
Did you just randomly push a button and break it?
What can I say? The boy's got the savant syndrome.
Or fixed it.
All a matter of perspective.
Blake takes out the radio and then clicks it, the one that we brought from the hideout, turns it on real quick. Just static.
AM 540 is dead silent.
Well, Brady
as in not a broadcasting channel.
Blake gets a little suspicious, then walks back out and looks out at the sky. Did it change?
The sky, you see that slowly the sky is turning back to overcast.
I don't know how. I don't know why. But I solved it.
You may have solved the symptom, but I'm not ain't sure if that's the if it's the symptom or the cure.
I think what may have also happened is that we've lost our lead. It's all right. It was a good idea.
Lost our minds, was that?
No, lost our
probably.
lead.
Nah, it was literally just a message that repeated. It is that thing from 1954. But who knows what it's supposed to be warning us about. Maybe that ship has sailed.
So here's what
like some bad shit happened in the past. and it's only telling us now.
But the bad shit is happening now too. Think about the dogs. The beasts spoke in dots and dashes and unveiled the secret of this place.
All the beasts spoke in Datsons and Daxons.
Yeah.
Ah.
And then the ghosts of games past, when we passed the arcade, the games were going nuts. And
I mean, if we could turn that on all the time for, one-armed bandits, we could make some money.
Blake is gonna actually go back and try to find like if there's any like nameplates or badges that are just left here to see who was here, if any.
You look around, and there are no indications of anyone who worked here 30 years ago. No names on anything.
It's secret military op. They're not exactly gonna leave behind their coffee mugs with their names on. It's usually frowned upon.
Mike, is there a way to get up under the roof?
It's covered in barbed wire. So
Like
you'd have to
inside,
remove.
is there?
I'll get some
There's
wire
not.
cutters from the truck,
Okay.
and you can hop up on my shoulders.
Why not hop up mine? I'm the tallest here.
True. Sorry, I'm used to shorter kids and me being as long as you've been working out, Blake, because Shane, he's been making them gains.
I mean, it wouldn't hurt to have someone help catch him, if anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's see if we can get me up there.
Here's what I will say.
Okay.
You can attempt to roll to cut this concertina wire. If you do not succeed by a margin of 2, you will take injured. You will take injured, and then I'm going to have you roll something else, and that will determine if you are out of the rest of the session.
Ooh.
I don't know if you've seen concertina wire, but it's not fun. You can roll me. You get a +1 because you have an implement here. This would be a. I'm gonna say this is gonna be a. It's gonna be ironically your best roll. So it's gonna be a move roll, and you need at least 2 successes.
And can you preload that with a little luck?
He doesn't have any luck. He's 15.
Yeah.
But I can preload it with a little help from Lisa.
Yeah.
And I think I definitely think my pride would apply here if I need it.
How does Lisa help you?
My iconic item is my heart pendant.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. I was gonna say she's in a coma and 10 miles and miles away.
But Shane might soon be joining her if he knocks his noggin.
Go ahead and roll me with your iconic item for a +2 and a +1 for the implement. And you're using your pride to get at least 1 automatic success.
John is
I'll only
preemptively
use my
fetching
pride
the
if I need
first
it.
aid kit.
Okay.
Great.
Oh,
Can I say
that is everything you need. So you deftly cut into the
Lisa?
concertina wire in a way that it naturally like slinky falls away from you and away from any of your friends who are standing below you. And no one is cut to ribbons.
John is at a safe distance with the first aid kit.
Yeah. Normally you need like thick gloves to handle that stuff. So it falls away like a slinky sort of peeling open, and you have access to this satellite. Immediately you notice that it has no power going to it, and everything about it seems to be rusted.
Okay, can I see any kind of indication of the fact that, I mean, it just moved.
Yes.
So something should be loose.
You see that there is like a set of like rusted gears and stuff that would control like the left and right of it. You also see like a half moon sort of bar on the back of it that also has a series of gears that controls like the tilt of it. the pitch and the yaw of it. There is loose dust and debris and rust here, but everything seems to be controlled by these rusty gears. What are you looking for specifically?
That's the problem is I don't know.
Everything about this looks like what you would imagine a satellite to look like. Unfortunately, Shane, you don't have a lot of experience with satellites in general, let alone taking them apart. Satellite dishes aren't a big feature in 1986 homes. This does look like a large one. You see there is a dish. There's a bars that sort of form like the idea of a cone. There's a large square box on the front of it that seems to have like almost looks like a camera lens with a white filter on it that's pointing back towards this. And then a massive like junction box beneath it that you assume contains something with a lot of gears and big, thick coaxial cables.
Is there a model plate on it?
Anything about it is rusted and aged beyond reading.
Yeah.
Now that I hit Blake, do you know what you did when you hit what command you ran?
I hit enter. I think there was a
Right.
command already set.
Do you know what? Did you see what it was?
Nope.
And
Still be on the screen.
Nope. There's no power. Anything else? Everything else. The lights shut off. The sensor shut off. The door keypad shut off. As soon as you hit enter, whatever it ran, shut everything back down. Your best guess is some sort of power surge or something booted this place up again.
It's a mystery.
yeah,
Mm.
Rossy stares off over towards Glenbrook.
This is a city.
You know what?
A city
That's
of mad science.
Yeah.
That's a perfect segue as Rossy wistfully looks back at Glenbrook. I think that is the perfect segue. The four of you boys have solved a mystery. More or less. You've ended something that was happening. And as Rossy wistfully stares back across towards Glenbrook proper.
Let's take Fish a gift. Robot.
Yeah.
I fucking love it.
Actually,
Put it
can we
on the
just take
truck.
that back to our hideout?
You can
Yeah.
take the robot.
Yeah.
It is completely useless. It is inert.
We-
We are taking the robot.
We bought the truck. It got crowbars.
might as well use it.
Let's go looting.
You stare back across the field wistfully in the direction of Glenbrook, and the knowledge just sort of hangs there with whoever wants to pluck it from this tree. All of these things were predicted by this ominous signal, and all of these things happened shortly after being predicted. Wonder who the others are. The day draws to a close. The purple rain dries on the February sidewalks here, and the following morning, a news article front and center on the Glenbrook Times. Mysterious phenomena sweep through Glenbrook. Residents baffled by unusual occurrences. A wave of unexplained phenomena has swept through our quiet town, leaving many residents puzzled and concerned. Reports of strange voices echoing through the air, objects phasing in and out of existence, and eerie energy distortions near the old loop facility have filled the community with unease. Local authorities are urging calm and have initiated an investigation, calling on experts from the nearby Loop Research Center to shed light on these disturbances. Meanwhile, community leaders are organizing meetings to discuss safety measures and inform the public about ongoing developments. And that is where we end this episode of Glenbrook Chronicles. Hell yeah. let's go around, do our introductions so we can get out of here and we can discuss this in our after show. If you guys want access to the after show, do what these fine folks have done and join us over on our Patreon. At the $5 tier, you get access to this after show and all the other after shows for all the other shows we've done for the last several years. Check it out. It's worth your time. We will start with Trevor. Trevor, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet and what are you up to?
Hello, everyone. I am Trevor, aka the Vitruvian Meeple. You can find me over on my own channel on YouTube, where every 2 weeks we are playing some Cypher System superhero goodness. The powers that be. We're getting into some really good mysteries, as we are here. So it's a really great time to join us. Other than that, you can find me here on the one shots. You can find me in Mike's Discord, although I've been lurking a lot recently. And that's about it. Yeah. This was awesome.
Perfect. Let's jump over to Propo. Who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? What are you up to?
When Spitfire Mobile Mechanics is not serving the greater Glenbrook and Nipschuck Valley area, you will find me on the Discord in these things, schedule permitting, and writing a little too much Glenbrook fanfic. There's a trilogy. Spoiler alert, Lisa wakes up. We deal a little more with, well, the events of Christmas are already on the wiki. If you want to catch up with that, of John's family being their strange selves, and offline, I've started running a kind of a post Glenbrook 90s game, and it's set in John's hometown,
Hell
5.5 miles from Coventry, and so I've played John twice today.
Hell yeah, that's dope. It's funny, you say Coventry, and I'm sure you're speaking of a Coventry somewhere in the greater England area. There is a Coventry there is a Coventry in Rhode Island as well.
It's
Interesting. Cool. Let's jump on over. To Matt. Matt, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? What are you up to?
I am Matt or D in Mike's Discord. You'll find me there in the Patreon one shots and the ongoing Patreon campaign, The Rise, where I play Sadelitz, the Wary Destroyer, and I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do with my level up.
Fair enough. Yeah, you have a few weeks to decide. You'll be fine. You'll get there.
I'll probably forget and think last minute.
Do it the day of. Perfect. Last but not least, Will. Always a pleasure to have you on here. Who are you? Where can we find you? What are you up to?
Hi, I'm Will. I am also known as the Red Oak Shield Virus in the Discord. So this channel, you could see me talk a few times, maybe over on the Patreon one-shot area. And I'm here whenever I can. But besides that, nothing else.
All right. And we're glad you don't sound like a chipmunk.
Good.
That's it from us for this show. We will be doing another show right after this, so stick around. We're going to get out of here. We're going to do the after show for this one. If you guys, again, want access to that after show, check it out over on our Patreon. Link in the description down below. But that's it from us. We'll see you guys next time. So from all of us to you, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.